Let's read 2 Ezra 9. Let's read 36 on down.
2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 36. For we that have received the law perish by sin, and our heart also which receiveth it. Notwithstanding, the law perisheth not, but remaineth in his force.
So the law will always be here. Go ahead.
And when I spake these things in my heart, I looked back with mine eyes, and upon my right side I saw a woman, and behold, she mourned and wept with a loud voice, and was much grieved in heart, and her clothes were rent, and she had ashes upon her head. Then let I my thoughts go that I was in, and turned me unto her, and said unto her, Wherefore weepest thou? Why art thou so grieved in thy mind? And she said unto me, Sir, let me alone, that I may be well myself, and add unto my sorrow. For I am sore vexed in my mind, and brought very low.
So what Ezra is seeing is a vision of Jerusalem. It's coming as a weeping woman. It's weeping because her children have been taken away into captivity. Jump down to chapter 10, and let's read verse 1.
2 Ezra chapter 10, verse 1. And it came to pass that when my son was entered into his wedding chamber, he fell down and died. Then we all overthrew the lights, and all my neighbors rose up to comfort me. So I took my rest unto the second day at night. And it came to pass, when they had all left off to comfort me, to the end I might be quiet. Then rose I up by night, and fled, and came hither into this field, as thou seest. And I do now purpose not to return into the city, but here to stay, and neither to eat nor drink, but continually to mourn, and to fast until I die.
Read on.
Then left I the meditations wherein I was, and spake to her in anger, saying, Thou foolish woman, above all other, seest thou not our mourning, and what happeneth unto us? How that Sion, our mother, is full of all heaviness, and much humbled, mourning very sore. And now, seeing we all mourn and are sad, for we are all in heaviness, art thou grieved for one son?
So Ezra he cared about his people. He was talking to the Most High on behalf of his people of why we are in captivity. Why is it so long? Why don't you change it if we be thy children? He was conversing with the Most High, right? Now jump over to 25. Let's read 25 on down.
2 Ezra chapter 10, verse 25. And it came to pass, while I was talking with her, behold, her face upon a sudden shined exceedingly, and her countenance glistered, and that I was afraid of her, and mused what it might be. And behold, suddenly she made a great cry, very fearful, so that the earth shook at the noise of the woman. And I looked, and behold, the woman appeared unto me no more. And there was a city builded, and a large place showed itself from the foundations. Then I was afraid, and cried with a loud voice, and said.
So this is the precept what we read all the time in Hosea 12 and 10. The Lord speaks through, what does it say? Visions. He multiplies visions. He compares one thing to another. In this case, Israel is a weeping woman, but it's really showing the building, the kingdom of God. Read on.
Where is Uriel the angel, who came unto me at the first? For he hath caused me to fall into many trances, and mine end is turned into corruption, and my prayer to rebuke. And as I was speaking these words, behold, he came unto me, and looked upon me, and lo, I lay as one that hath been dead, and my understanding was taken from me. And he took me by the right hand, and comforted me, and set me upon my feet, and said unto me, What aileth thee? And why art thou so disquieted? And why is thine understanding troubled? And the thoughts of thine heart? And I said, Because thou hast forsaken me, and yet I did according to thy words. And I went into the field, and lo, I have seen, and yet see, that I am not able to express.
So it was beyond his understanding. Like many of us, when we have dreams, it's beyond our understanding. That goes for you sisters that be having dreams and want to be labeled a prophetess. The dreams are beyond our understanding to the normal person. Ezra's a prophet of God, didn't even understand most of his dreams. They had to be revealed to him by the angel. Please explain this to me. What's going on? That's why in the Bible it says, don't trust in dreams. Read on, verse 33.
And he said unto me, stand up manfully, and I will advise thee.
Read that part again.
Stand up manfully, and I will advise thee.
So you got to understand, in order to be under the government of God, to even enter into that thing, all of us have to stand up manfully. That's what God commands us to do. Ain't no more playing the background, being the soft-spoken. No, God says stand up manfully when I talk to you. And he speaks to you all the time through the Bible. Stand up manfully. Give me that in 1 Timothy chapter 3. In order to be a leader in the government of God, you have to stand up manfully. Let's show what it looks like to stand up manfully. Give me that. 1 Timothy 3. Let's read 1 through 7.
1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop.
Bishop means a leader. Read on.
He desireth a good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality.
So you got to have one wife. You got to believe in that. For you little whoremongering brothers and camps out there, to be a leader in the government of Christ, you got to have one wife. That's what he said. You got to be vigilant. You got to be sober, good behavior. Read on.
Given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous.
Now, these is all spiritual attributes right here. So that means you got to get your spirit right. Not given to wine, nor striker. Ready to fight all the time. That's a sign of being effeminate and soft. You can't be a leader like that. Cannot be a leader like that. Read on.
One that ruleth well his own house.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Go ahead.
Having his children in subjection with all gravity.
In order to be a leader in the government of God, you got to have your house in order. You got to rule that thing according to the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. It ain't talking about being a lion or a Negro in the house, running the house is the stash spot. Been watching Snowfall lately. They got places that's the stash house, the crack house. Nah, it ain't supposed to be none of that. You got to rule your house according to the commandments of God, just like your ancestor Abraham did. Read on.
For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God?
How can you be a leader in the government of God? If you can't rule the little earthly house where you only got your one wife, you got your few kids, there's no way that you can be a leader when Christ gives you 5 cities. You can't do it. You're going to have 50,000 something kids. They might not all be yours, but they're going to have to be governed according to some laws. You got to be able to govern your wife. You got to be able to set laws. You got to set things in order. If you can't deal with one house down, no way you can govern 5, 10 cities when Christ come back. Read on.
Not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil.
So to be a leader in God's government, that means you got to be learned. Learned in what? In the laws of God. Your judgment exercised through much experience. Because why? Satan will jump on you. Read on.
Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, lest he fall into reproach and the snare of the devil.
So in order to be a leader, you got to have a good report of them which are without. That means you got to be known. That's for all you personal Bible study brothers on the Sabbath day. You got to be known. If we don't know your name, we're going to hit deny on that Passover list. Don't know you. Going back to where you come from. Put in some work. Be known around there. Those are attributes of a leader. Give me that in, where we go, 2 Ezra chapter 14. Second Ezra, chapter 14. So you brothers that got that timid, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know. Oh, I'm shy. And man, you better get over that. I remember the first time I came into this truth, I met the brothers. I had been, the Lord led me to. I said, man, it felt like I known y'all all my life. Where y'all been at? You know why? Because I didn't go in there like, I'm just wait till somebody talk to me. Let me just read my Bible and hope somebody says something to me. Looking up through my glasses. Nah, I wasn't doing that. I was in the mix. Hey, what y'all talking about over here? Y'all got your Bible? What script is that? Oh, let me get that. Oh, that's cold-blooded precept right there. Let me highlight that. That was my conversation. You got plenty of conversation in this truth with your brothers. Ain't no reason you should be quiet and not known. Second Ezra, let's read 14 and 13.
Second Ezra, chapter 14, verse 13.
Yep, we read down to 15.
Now, therefore, set thine house in order.
Do what?
Set thine house in order.
A leader in God's government got to set his house in order. The Most High serious about that thing. He mentions it numerous times. So ain't no, because you know what it is? You might act like you got it in order when you come to the school, and then at home, it's 50-50, 80-20, her way. The kids dictate what you eat at night when you come home from work. Oh, no, it'll carry over into here and it expose itself. The Lord will reveal it. Yep. And you know how we'll know is when your wife is sitting over there in the chair not talking to nobody because she's already on the silent treatment thing. And she got that look on her face like she ready to go, and she look over, and she out of the corner of her eye, she looking over at you like this. And you over there kicking it with the brothers. Hey, what's going on, brothers? And then you happen to catch a glimpse. You like, oh, shit. All right, brothers, yeah, man, I'm going to get on out of here. The kids is, you don't say the wife. You say the kids is tired. Got to put them to bed, early day tomorrow. No, it'll reveal itself in here. Read verse 13 again.
Now, therefore, set thine house in order and reprove thy people.
Once your house is set in order, then you can reprove your people. Don't go out there trying to reprove your people and your house ain't in order because God going to expose you. He going to put you right in front of a brother or sister that got marital problems in the house. He worships his wife. And you ain't going to be able to give him no guidance and no counsel as a leader because, hell, you in the same situation. And then you'll be a hypocrite. Read on.
Comfort such of them as be in trouble. And now renounce corruption.
You don't.
Let go from the mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature.
Do what?
Put off now the weak nature.
Put off the weak nature. That weak nature is not being able to take correction. The bishop and the deacons make sure we captains put off the weak nature. They be giving it to us. And they don't let us forget. You know what they're doing? They try to build us up to be governors in the government of Christ, leaders. It's all for a reason. They ain't trying to destroy us. They're trying to build us up because they've meditated on the scriptures way longer than we have. Read that again.
Let go from the mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee and haste thee to flee from these times.
So ain't no more 50 or 50-50. You got to set the house in order. Ain't no more, it's whatever the kids want to do when they grow up. I'll support them. If you let them do whatever they want to do when they grow up, they're going to end up like that. They're going to end up like Lil Nas X, twerking on Satan. No, it's your job as a leader to set the vision in the house for your wife, for your children. I want you to do this, wife. I want you to be a Proverbs 31 woman like Sarah. I want you to be like Judith. I want people to think of you as Judith when they see you. You tell your kids, no, I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be a police officer. I want you to be this because our nation needs this. I want you to look into them financial stocks, all while being a prophet. I want you to do these because these are things our nation needs. You set the vision as a leader. You don't let it just go wherever because our mind is what did it say? Our mind is given to wickedness. We if you let us go by ourselves, we will choose the worst things possible to please our flesh. Now go to, let me see, 2nd Ezra 10. Let's go back to that. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 10. I ain't even here yet. Let's go 2nd Ezra 10. Let's read 33. We're going to jump around.
2nd Ezra, chapter 10, verse 33.
Yeah, we're going back to that. Read that.
And he said unto me, stand up manfully, and I will advise thee.
So once you stand up like a man and not like what you see here being pushed out here in the media, then God said, I'm going to advise you because you're a man I can deal with. You're a man that can lead. So let me pull some of this wisdom into you. Jump up to verse 44.
Verse 44. This woman whom thou sawest is Zion.
So now the angel's explaining the vision, the dream that Ezra saw. The woman is Zion. Read on.
And whereas she said unto thee, even she whom thou seest as a city builded.
All right, now jump up to verse 50 through 54.
Verse 50. For now the Most High seeth that thou art grieved unfadingly, and sufferest from thy whole heart for her. So hath he showed thee the brightness of her glory and the comeliness of her beauty.
So because Ezra's thoughts and the cogitations of his mind was only towards his people, the Lord said, I'm going to pull my spirit into him. I'm going to give him the understanding that he's seeking. That's how it is. If in this walk, if you got 1 foot in the world and you got 1 foot in this truth, the Lord can't advise you. He won't deal with you like he dealt with Ezra's. He will give you Deuteronomy 28 and give you the basic understandings of the commandments and keep you right where you are. He won't give you the wisdom to dive behind the 10 commandments and bring out all the statutes that go with it. He won't give you the understanding of putting precept here, precept there, where you can put together a class to lead the people. He can't deal with you because you're lukewarm. When you fully hot for God, he said, all right, now I see that you are grieved unfeignedly. I mean, it ain't faking you. You really care about your people. Read on.
And therefore I bade thee remain in the field where no house was builded. For I knew that the highest would show this unto thee. Therefore I commanded thee to go into the field where no foundation of any building was.
Where no foundation of any government building was. This place is filled with government buildings, right? It's all over the place. City Hall, Town Hall, Supreme Court, White House, driver's license. It's all these government buildings everywhere. Where no building was. Read on.
For in the place wherein the highest beginneth to show his city,
New Jerusalem,
there can no man's building be able to stand.
There can no other government be on the face of the earth. That's why when Christ said, I'm going to give you a little nugget, I ain't going to let you know what it is until the last days, pray this prayer. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. You're going to pray for God to establish his government on earth and not even know it. You're going to pray that the Lord destroys the sinful kingdom off the face of the earth and not even know it. I can't tell you that straight out because, your enemies is going to have your book. So I'm a lace it in some scriptures and give it to the prophets, precept upon precept, and they're going to tell you what you should be praying for because can't no other building be standing when God's kingdom comes on the earth. Now, let's see. There's 4 functions of government, all right? So you can write these down. There's 4 functions of government. The first one, keep order. The first function of government is to keep order. The second form of government is to manage foreign relations. Christ's going to manage those, boy. Right in the valley of Jehoshaphat. He's going to manage those foreign relations. Number 3 is provide services. The third function of government is to provide services. And the fourth function of government is to create public policy. I'm going to read them again. Number 1, keep order. Number 2, manage foreign relations. Number 3, provide services. And number 4, create public policy. That's the 4 functions of government. All right? Let's pull up the video and let's watch that. And they're going to explain each one of those in detail. It's a short video. Play that video. Make sure y'all put up the disclaimer as well while we doing it. What are we looking at? Where we at? Jeopardy music, please. Y'all got it? All right. There we go. You got something in the background? Hold on.
In
Pause
a democratic society.
Pause it. You got stuff in the background. Bless. I'll tell you. The IT team all over IUIC. Bless our heart. Y'all get the job done, but damn, y'all stuck.
Government offers them.
Where that? Pull it up.
The functions of government. In a democratic society, people choose to live under a government because they believe the functions of government will improve their lives. Consenting to live under a government means giving up some degree of freedom, but citizens' lives are improved by what government offers them. Abraham Lincoln said it in a much fancier way. The legitimate object of government is to do for a community of people whatever they need to have done, but cannot do it all, or cannot so well do for themselves in their separate and individual capacities. With that in mind, let's examine 4 main functions of government. First, government keeps order. This means passing laws to keep people safe, having a police force to deter and investigate crimes, and managing courts to administer justice. Second, government manages foreign relations. This means making international agreements, handling diplomatic situations to reduce conflicts with other countries, and having a military force to provide security. Third, government provides services. This includes schools, libraries, fire departments, parks, roads, bridges, garbage collection, recycling programs, water and sewage systems, food inspections, building inspections, mail service, and many others. In addition, government serves people in need with programs like Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid, housing assistance, and food stamps. Fourth, government creates public policies to avoid or manage problems. Examples of this function include environmental laws to protect resources and reduce pollution, economic policies to prevent a recession, and zoning regulations to prevent a factory from moving into a housing neighborhood. Essentially, government creates a direction for society to deal with the reality that there are many issues in which the actions of an individual can cause massive problems that are too large for others to overcome. For example, Carla and all of her neighbors can be as environmentally responsible as possible to maintain clean air for their kids.
All right, we can cut
pollution
it. We can cut that. So it gave us the 4 functions of government, right? Give me that Psalm 82. The 4 functions was keep order, manage foreign relations. We're going to deal with that, keep order. Psalm 82, let's read verse 1 and 2.
Psalms chapter 82, verse 1. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods.
He judgeth among the gods. That's us. God judged among us. We are the gods. Read on.
How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked?
So what God asking us a question. How long are we going to continue to do that? Because what do? We judged unrighteously when we governed ourselves in our own land. This was a warning. How long are you going to keep perverting judgment? Go to Ezekiel chapter 7, and I want to read 1 through 8.
Ezekiel
7. Yep, let's read that.
Chapter 7, verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Also, thou son of man, thus saith the Lord God unto the land of Israel, the end is come upon the 4 corners of the land.
The end is come. Read on.
Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations.
For all of our sins we were judged. Read on.
And mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abominations shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God, and evil and only evil, behold, is come. An end is come. The end is come. It watcheth for thee. Behold, it is come. The morning is come unto thee, O thou that dwellest in the land. The time is come. The day is trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains. Now will I shortly pour out my fury upon thee, and accomplish mine anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense thee for all thine abominations.
So the Lord judged us for our unjust judgment ourselves. Go back to Psalms. Let's read Psalms 82, and let's read 2 again. So we was judged for our own unjust judging. Let's read that.
Psalms chapter 82, verse 2. How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah. Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy.
So he's telling us what we should do. Read on.
Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand.
They know not, neither will they understand. Read on.
They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
So the whole world is out of order because the real judges are not in place anymore. We have been cast down. Our end came when we was in the land. Therefore, when the real judges of God are not set up, the whole world descends into chaos. Now, remember, we just read it, right? It said, or watched it, the first function of government was to do what, brothers? What is it? The first function of government? Keep order, right? So when there's no order, there's only wickedness. Give me that in Job 9:24. When there is no order, there is only wickedness.
Job chapter 9, verse 24.
Yep.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
So the earth is now given into the hand of the wicked to rule and to judge and to govern. And it says they cover the faces of the judges thereof. You know what they cover the faces of the judges of with? They cover it with sin. They have covered our faces with sin. Let me show you this. Pull up the images. This is how they covered our face with sin. The real judges. So no longer do you recognize the real judges. That ain't the first picture I got. Stay with me, y'all. That's Moses, right? That's a Russian icon. I think it's in the book called The Icon. That's Moses. How did they cover his face with sin? So damn Booth gave it away already. That's Charleston Heston, white dude. They got him to play Moses way back in the day. He was on there, let my people go. They covered his face with sin. Go to the next one. That is Samson. That is in a catacomb in Rome. Catacombs mean it's under the ground. It's under the ground in Rome. Dura Europus is what it's called if you want to look it up. That's Samson fighting the lions like you read in the scriptures. How did they cover his face with sin? There you go. That's Samson. Zoom in. That's Samson. Covered his face with sin. And this is how you know they the devil. You know, the Hamites is the ones that locked him up. Delilah cut his hair, put him in the temple of Dagon and all that stuff. They even made the Hamites, Nilotic Africa, they made them white. They said the hell with everybody. Everybody's white in this baby. Give me the next one. Is of Haggai. Zoom in on that. That's a picture of Haggai back during the Dark Ages. The prophet Haggai. We read about him. Look just like all of us in here, right? Braided up his beard, right? We see us doing that now. Go to the next one. Let's see how they covered his face. Oh, there we go. Boom, that's Haggai. The word of the Lord came by the prophet Haggai to Zerubbabel and to Joshua. They made Zerubbabel white and Joshua white. They covered the faces of the judges with sin. Here's a question, if anybody can answer it. How is that covering our faces with sin? How is it? Anybody got it? I know you ain't got it. I'm going to give it to you. Here you go. Give me that 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. This is how they covered the faces of the judges with sin. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Let's read 3 and 4.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed.
And that who?
That man of sin be revealed.
They covered our faces with the man of sin. They covered the judges' faces with sin. Read that again. The man of what?
The man of sin be revealed. The son of perdition.
Read on. This is how you know it's the man of sin is the white man. Read on.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God.
Doing what?
Showing himself that he is God.
That's the white man. He covered our faces with sin. He covered the judges' faces with sin. Give me that in Daniel 7 and 9. Because the next thing you ask, well, who do the real judges look like? What do they look like? We look like God. Let's read that. Daniel 7 and 9.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
That's the Most High God. Read.
Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool.
Like the pure wool. That stuff they call nappy. That stuff they call undesirable. That stuff that when Chris Rock did the documentary of Good Hair, he took a whole thing of Afro hair, black people hair, to a Korean store and said, can I sell this to you? He said, no, nobody want that, nobody. That undesirable hair, that's the hair that God got on his head. Now go to Ezekiel 1. Let's read 26 and 27.
Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 26.
So we got the texture of God's hair. Let's see what color he was.
And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone.
So we just read about that throne in Daniel 7, right? It's a man sitting on it. So he's seeing the same thing that Daniel seen. Read.
And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it.
He was looking at the Most High. Read on.
And I saw as the color of amber.
The color of amber was the color of that man with woolly hair sitting on the throne. Go to Google. Let's do this right here. We're going to do it live. Go to Google. This is for a lot of you new brothers, new sisters that didn't have the precepts to show that God is black. Because you know a lot of times we go to Revelation about Christ, right? So now you got the precepts to put together about God being black. Pull it up. Pull up Google. I want to see. We're going to do this. What the hell? Scroll up. Scroll up so we can see it. It's too late now. Hell, just click back. The hell? Just click back, dude, where you just came from. Lord, bless your heart. All right. Now, And this is why I wanted to do it. Just amber, type in amber gemstone. All right, there we go. That's what I wanted. They think they got their Professor XO right there. Just stay with me, y'all. Click on the second one. But you see the color of the amber, right? There we go. Now, you say, man, that ain't as black as all outdoors. I thought it was. Black folk, if we put this next to your skin, it's the same color as your skin, all right? But the reason why it looks like the color of amber on that throne, let's go back to it. You can leave that up there. And let's go back to Ezekiel 1. Let's read 27.
Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 27. And I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it. From the appearance of his loins, even upward, and from the appearance of his loins, even downward. I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about.
So it had brightness round about it. Whenever you shine light on something, behind it anyway, what does it do? It illuminates, right? What are y'all doing? Come on, dude. I don't need y'all to get all technical. No on-the-job training. So that's why it looks fairly like amber. But you can tell it's a brown man, black man with woolly hair. All right. Let's just keep the camera on me, man. Goodness gracious. All right, so how else? How else do the wicked cover the judges' faces with sin? Does any brother got an idea? How else do they cover? Because remember, the scripture says in Job 11:26, wisdom is double to that which is. So when you read scriptures, there's double meanings to it. How else do they cover the I'm going to make it easy for you. How do they cover the black man's face with sin in Babylon the Great? Because you are the judges. How do they do it? Anybody? Let's see. Right here, Brother Paul.
With the media?
You got to put the mic up to your mouth, dude. Speak like a man. Stand up manfully.
With the media.
With the media? Okay. That's general. Anybody else got one? Duel. Let's give it a duel. You can sit down, duel. Well, give me another read. How do they cover the judges' faces with sin?
But
Say it again.
But
Oh, God. Now the mic mess up. Lord. White Jesus? Okay, we went to that. White Jesus. Anybody else? Right there. Right there. Stand up. Say your name.
Brother Joshua.
Brother Joshua.
They changed the meaning of the word leprosy. And
Okay.
They made it a different disease than vitiligo, changing of the skin color.
Okay, I like it. Anybody else? One more? Let's see, Brother Benjamin, what you got? How do they cover the judges' faces with sin?
All the churches promote that Israel was white.
Okay.
Or the Jewish.
Okay, Jewish people, Israel white. Here's how they cover the faces of the judges with sin. Pull up the next picture. This is how they do it. Boom, right there. Easter. All of you all grew up in the church, and all of you all celebrated Easter Sunday. You probably still got the Easter Sunday suit in your closet. Your women probably got the dress and the big old hat somewhere in the back in a box that you ain't threw away because you're saving it for just in case I got to go back and believe the lie that a bunny lays eggs. They covered our faces with sin. Christ never celebrated nothing called Easter, nor did God ever ordain it to be holy or observed or kept. Give me that. Exodus chapter 12. Tell you, the scriptures got double meanings to it. That's how they cover your face. It's along with Easter. They got Christmas. They got your birthdays. They got baby showers. They cover it with feminism. You can, whatever it might be. This is how they cover the faces of the judges with sin, to where you agree with those things. You think they are normal. They raised you up in those ways. They covered your face with sin. Read that, Exodus 12. Let's read 1 and 2.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months.
The beginning of months. Is that it on verse 2?
It shall be the first month of the year unto you.
It shall be the first month. Now jump over to Exodus 13, and let's read verse 4 to show you what that month name is.
Exodus chapter 13, verse 4.
Y'all should be writing this down, especially newer brothers and sisters coming into this. Read that.
This day came ye out in the month of Abib.
The month of Abib. That's the beginning of the year. That's when Passover is to be observed, not Easter. Pull up the images from the Zondervan. Pull it up. Because that's coming up. Zoom in on it. Blow it up. Zoom in, zoom in. There we go. Let's read that.
Abib, the Preselic, name for the first month of the year.
The pre-exilic. And it says Abib and ear of corn, right? That's when you call it when things begin to come back to life. They sprout out the ground. Exilic name for the first month of the year. Read on.
After the exile, the name was changed to Nisan. It fell about the time of our March in early April.
March and early April is the new year. That's when Passover's supposed to be kept, not Easter. You don't read about that. Let's go back to the scripts. Let's read 3 through 8. Exodus chapter 12.
Exodus
this real quick. Let's read that 3 through 8.
Chapter 12, verse 3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating.
Can you read more fluid instead of choppy? Just read fluid. Go ahead.
Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year.
That didn't mean speed up. Just read fluid, because there's commas, there's periods, and all of that. Go ahead. Bless his heart, y'all. It's his first time. He's a little nervous. Go ahead.
Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door posts of the houses, wherein they shall eat it.
Read.
And they shall eat the flesh in the night, roast with fire.
Eat the flesh and roast it with fire. Read on.
And unleavened bread. And with bitter herbs shall they eat it.
So that was under the first covenant, that we would sacrifice it the same day of, put the blood over the post and all of that. You can read all of that on your own when you got time, right? Jump up to verse 14.
Verse 14. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth unleavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation.
The holy convocation, go ahead.
And in the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. For in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 20th day of the month at even.
So you got to eat unleavened bread for a whole week. Go ahead.
7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. He shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread.
Now go to Luke chapter 12. Go to Luke chapter 12, and let's read. Well, I want to read verse 1. Luke 22. Luke 22, verse 1, and then we're going to jump.
Luke chapter 22 and verse 1.
Yep.
Now the feast of unleavened bread drew nigh, which is called the Passover. And the chief priests and scribes sought how they might kill him.
Verse 1 again.
Now the feast of unleavened bread drew nigh, which is called the Passover.
So Passover and unleavened bread is this one and the same, right? Because it starts at sundown, 14th day, 15th day. Now jump up to verse 7 and 8.
Verse 7. Then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed. And he sent Peter and John, saying, Go and prepare us the Passover, that we may eat.
So he told Peter, go and prepare the Passover, not Easter. Jump down to verse 13.
Verse 13. And they went and found as he had said unto them, and they made ready the Passover. And when the hour was come, he sat down, and the 12 apostles with him.
Sat down for Passover. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, With desire I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say unto you, I will not any more eat thereof until it be fulfilled in the kingdom of God.
So Christ kept Passover, not Easter. For all the Christians that's watching, it was not Easter. He wasn't worshiping Ishtar. Go ahead.
And he took the cup and gave thanks and said, Take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say unto you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God shall come. And he took bread and gave thanks and brake it and gave unto them, saying, This is my body which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me. Likewise also the cup after supper, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you. But behold,
that's it. Verse 20, down to verse 20. All right, so Passover is to be kept for a memorial. That means you're in covenant with Christ. The bread and that wine shows that you are in covenant with Christ. So if you ain't ever kept Passover in all your religious Christian life, you ain't in covenant with Christ, no matter how much you say it. You ain't got no relationship with him at all. And that lets you know, too. Give me this, show you. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. Let's read, or I want. Is that what I want? 2 Corinthians 5, 7, or is it 1 Corinthians? 1 Corinthians 5. 1 Corinthians 5, and let's read 7 and 8.
1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ our Passover is sacrificed for us.
So even in captivity, we are to purge out the old leaven, just like we did when we came out of Egypt. Now read the next verse, verse 8.
Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice
So keep the feast, because it's a memorial. Read on.
Of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
So Passover is not also to be done physically, but Passover is also spiritual. That's why Paul said the law is spiritual. All of those physical acts that were done, they had a spiritual connotation to it. Passover is spiritual. That's why we have to keep it. Now go to Acts chapter 12. So in the kingdom to come, Passover will be public policy. Everybody going to keep that thing. Acts chapter 12, I want to read 1 through 4 to show, let's see who was keeping Easter.
Acts chapter 12, verse 1. Now about the time Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church. And he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread.
Then were the days of unleavened bread. The Israelites celebrated Passover. The days of unleavened bread is Passover. We read that in Luke 22 and 1, right? Now keep reading.
And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to the 4 quaternions of the soldiers to keep him. Intending after Easter,
read,
to bring him forth to the people.
So Israel celebrated the Passover, but the man of sin celebrated Easter. If you following his ways, you're going to die just like him when Christ come back. The man of sin celebrated Easter, not the Israelites. You'll read about Christ doing that. Now go to Isaiah chapter 60. Isaiah chapter 60, and I want to read verse 1 and, no, just give me verse 2. Isaiah 60, verse 2.
Isaiah chapter 60, verse 2. For, behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people.
So darkness is sin. It says gross darkness shall do what? Read that part again.
And gross darkness the people.
Shall cover the people. Sin shall cover the faces of the judges. Read on.
But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee.
Give me that in Job chapter 10. So sin has covered the face of the earth because the rightful judgments are not in place. We coming back to it, but this ain't our kingdom to be judging. We just getting ready. Give me that in Job 10. Let's read 21 and 22.
Job chapter 10, verse 21. Before I go, whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness.
The land of darkness. Go ahead.
And the shadow of death. A land of darkness.
A land of darkness, a land of sin. Read.
As darkness itself.
Uh-huh.
And of the shadow of death, without any order.
It's what?
Without any order.
It's without any order. When sin is in place, chaos is right behind it. Read that again, verse 22.
A land of darkness, as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, and where the light is as darkness.
The light is as darkness. You know what that means? The law is like sin here. You hear it out of Creflo's mouth. All the pastors is pushing that. You keep the law, you're under sin. The light is as sin to them. Let's read that in 1 John chapter 5, verse 19. Sin is in place. Everything is out of order. No matter how in order it may look, because they got a red light means stop here. Every 4 years, they tell you to go vote here. Every Sunday, the Walking Dead go into a building and think they worshiping God on the first day of the week. All of that stuff, God looks down on and says, this is completely out of order. That's why this place is called Babylon the Great. He didn't just name it just Babylon. This is Babylon the Great. This is great confusion here. Read that 1 John 5, 19.
1 John chapter 5, verse 19. And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness.
The whole what?
The whole world lieth in wickedness.
The whole world lies in wickedness because it's full of darkness. You know what that means? That there ain't no good in this world. There ain't none. The only good in this world is this truth. The only good in this world is the commandments of God. The only good in this world is the feast days of God, like Passover. The only good in this world is the brotherhood, fellowshipping. That's the only good in this world. So if you leave this, you're going back to darkness. This is for you brothers and sisters that be fringe, borderline, you just came in. You leave this light, you're going back to darkness. A world without any order. Do whatever you want to. A boy can dress up like a woman, twerk on Satan, slide down a stripper pole from heaven to hell, and get 10 million views in 24 hours. It's without any order. Got some damn high heel boots on. And get a shoe deal from Nike with a little bit of blood in it. And put a scripture on it. My God, this place is without order. This is the only good in our lives. Got to remember that. Give me that 1 Maccabees. That's why you got to endure to the end. Whatever you got to get over to stand up manfully, you better do it. Pray to the Most High. He rid your body of those spirits that are in you that seem hard for you to overcome. Because you want to stay in this light. You don't want to walk in darkness no more. All of us walked in darkness. We thought voting was good. Vote or die. We was all pushing that. We was all pushing going to the club. We was all pushing, that's the way they live their life, as long as they don't bother me with it. We used to all say that. I know you did because I did. As long as they don't come to me with it, let them do whatever they want to. Love who they want to love. You walked in darkness. You didn't know it. First Maccabees. I want to read chapter 1, and let's read verse 1. Read 1 through 9.
First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
So we talking about Alexander the Greek. They call him the Great, but he's the Greek. Go ahead.
And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up, and he gathered a mighty strong host.
He's full of pride, just like all of Edom, all the Edomites. Go ahead.
And ruled over countries and nations and kings, who became tributaries unto him.
So this is the start of Esau's government on the earth, when they began to rule, right? Read on.
And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Read that part again.
And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Under Esau's government, evils multiplied. They didn't add, they multiplied. This was a new level of wickedness on the face of the earth. Do your history on the customs and ways of life of the Greeks. They was touching little boys everywhere. Dude, they had worship many gods for many different things, the same way Babylon the Great does today. Evils increased on the earth, but that was just under when they had a king and he ruled, right? You read it, it's Ptolemy, Lysimachus, and Seleucus, and Cassander. Now give me that in 1 Maccabees chapter 8. So that's the Greeks. Evils multiplied under the Greeks. Did it stop when Rome took over right after them? Let's read that. 1 Maccabees chapter 8. Let's read verse 1.
1 Maccabees chapter 8, verse 1. Now Judas had heard of the fame of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men.
Well, this is why we're showing you that this is why they took the Apocrypha out of the modern Bible. Because they got too much history in it for you to dive into. And they know that the mind will be curious and look up the things that it reads. That's why they kept Negroes from reading. So this is talking about Rome, and they did what? And such as would what?
And such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them.
That's the same thing America does. Jump down to verse 4.
Verse 4. And that by their policy and patience.
Policy comes from what, brothers? Who makes up policies? Government, just like we read up there. Saw in the video. Read on.
And patience, they had conquered all the place, though it were very far from them. And the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth.
The same way that America does, they'll put an embargo on you, starve you out, and wait for you to change over to their customs and their ways. Read on.
Till they had discomfited them and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year.
They paid them. Jump down to verse 11.
Verse 11. It was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under dominion all other kingdoms and isles that at any time resisted them. But with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept amity.
Now you see they call it friendship, but it's actually servitude. If you are servant to them, then the white man considers you his friend. But if you think you equal to him or above him, now he's going to bring war to you. Read on.
And that they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them. Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reigned, and whom again they displace.
That's called the CIA. They overthrow your government and then put up a mock puppet president. Same thing going on down there. Where's that at? Venezuela. Rome did it. America's doing it. Read on.
Finally, that they were greatly exalted. Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby.
So they didn't set up a king, is what it's saying. This is back in 333 so BC. They didn't set up kings like the Greeks did because they said, we're going to do it better. We're going to have a better government than the Greeks because Ptolemy and Lysimachus and all them evils multiplied under them, right? Read on.
Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end that they might be well ordered.
That their government might be well ordered. Read on.
And that they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them.
So they thought that if we get a whole bunch of people to have more opinions, more where we can discuss things will be better. But what ended up happening with that? Basically, it's the beginning of democracy. More envy, more murder, more hatred, more bribes began to come into play because what do? They dealt underhandedly to get that top spot. That's called lobbyists today. It's the same thing. Go to 2 Ezra chapter 11. Let's read 40 and 42. It's the same exact thing happening today.
2 Ezra chapter 11 verse 40.
Yep.
And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were passed.
That's back in Daniel chapter, I believe it's 7, right? Read on.
And had great power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression.
With what?
With much wicked oppression.
So this is Rome that God is talking about, and it ended up morphing into who, brothers? Who did Rome come back as on the earth? America. Rome is America reborn. That's why you have Roman days, Monday, Tuesday, the god of Mars, Wednesday. You got the planets, his name Venus, Jupiter. You got the Supreme Court. You got the Senate House. We just read it in Maccabees under the Romans. Rome is America reborn again. It rules the earth with much wicked oppression. Read on.
And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. For the earth hast thou not judged with truth. For thou hast afflicted the meek. Thou hast hurt the peaceable. Thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm.
So the evils multiplied under Greek government. They stayed multiplying under the Roman government. That's why in verse 41 it says, for the earth hast thou not judged with truth. Now, give me that in Isaiah chapter 9. That's why we got to continually always pray, thy kingdom come. You got to always pray. That's why in, I think it's Luke 18, Christ said, will he find such faith on earth in the last days? Or are you just going to give up, be like, man, that's the way it is. It's just how it's always going to be. Ain't no point in praying. Let me just live out my life and die. Are you going to continue praying, thy kingdom come? Because when you pray for thy kingdom come, you're praying for this. Isaiah 9, let's read 6 and 7.
Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6.
Now I'm going to start my class.
For unto us a child is born.
Uh-huh.
Unto us a son is given.
A son is given. That son is Jesus the Christ. Read on.
And the government shall be upon his shoulder.
The what?
The government shall be upon his shoulder.
The government of God will be upon Jesus the Christ's shoulder. Read on.
And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
Read.
Of the increase of his government.
The increase of his government. Read.
And peace.
And peace. You see those? You see it keep mentioning Christ, government, and peace. When the government of God comes, you're going to have some peace here on earth. We're going to get some more on that. Read on.
There shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and justice from henceforth even forever.
Ooh, give you shivers right there. Judgment and justice. Read on.
The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this.
So when Christ's government comes, it's going to be peace. It's going to be justice. It's going to be judgment. Right? It's going to be order. Give me that Isaiah 32. Isaiah 32. Let's read 1 and 2 now.
Isaiah chapter 32, verse 1. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness.
A king's going to reign in righteousness. Read on.
And princes shall rule in judgment.
Who's going to rule?
And princes shall rule in judgment.
That's you, brothers. That's why your name's Israel. You are the princes of God. You're going to judge too. You're a part of the government of God. Read on. Verse 2.
And princes shall rule with judgment.
Verse 2. Isaiah 32, verse 2.
And a man shall be as in hiding place from the wind.
Hold on, read 1 and 2 again. How
Behold,
you your place looking right at it. All right, go ahead, read it again.
Isaiah chapter 32, verse 1. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment.
Read.
And a man shall be as in hiding place from the wind.
A what?
A hiding place from the wind.
A man shall be as a hiding place from the wind. Sisters, we working on turning these men into fine gold, governors of Christ. He gonna be your protection. Read that part again, verse 2. So put some respect on his name.
And a man shall be as in hiding place from the wind.
I know right now you don't trust in your man. Now you trust in white man. We know you do. We know you do. Well, you know you know his number by heart. What's the man's number they know by heart? What's the number, brothers? 911. They don't remember none of y'all numbers. All your number is saved as husband, baby daddy, that dude, Pizza Hut. But a man shall be as in hiding place from the wind, the protection. He's going to have power. Read on.
And a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land.
All right, give me that Isaiah 42. Let's read Isaiah 42. I want to read verse 21. We're still dealing with Christ governing in righteousness. Peace. Let's read that.
Isaiah chapter 42, verse 21. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
Read that again.
The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake.
He's well pleased for Christ's righteousness' sake. Read.
He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
So how is he going to rule in righteousness? He's going to magnify the law. Ain't going to be no cutting corners. Ain't going to be no doing dirt in the dark. Ain't going to be none of that. The law will be magnified. If you don't follow these laws, it's going to be a judgment for you. Go to Isaiah chapter 11. Let's read Isaiah 11. Let's read 1 through 5.
Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him.
The Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him. Read on.
The Spirit of wisdom and understanding. The Spirit of counsel and might. The Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord.
So under Christ's governing, there will never be a wrong judgment ever again. There will always be a perfect judgment because he has wisdom. He's going to have the spirit of counsel. For some of y'all, they'll be, I don't, you talk to us, be like, I don't want, no, I'm not doing that counsel. To hell with what them Negroes in purple said. I'm going to go do what I do. You ain't going to be doing none of that when Christ come on the scene counseling. What he tell you to do in private, you better do in the open. Read that again, verse 2.
And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord.
Never will it be a wrong judgment again. Now go to Isaiah 32. We'll be in the book of Isaiah for a little bit. We jump out, come back. Isaiah 32, and I want to read, let's read 6 through 8.
Isaiah chapter 32, verse 6.
16 through 18, that's what I want.
Verse 16. Then judgment shall dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness remain in the fruitful field.
Righteousness again, go ahead.
And the work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness, quietness, and assurance forever.
That's the effect of righteousness. When righteousness is applied by magnifying the law, there automatically comes peace and quietness in your life. We don't have that now. Don't have that at all. That's why we are still marching, protesting every year, every decade under this white man's government, because ain't no peace. Ain't no quietness for us. The only peace and quietness we're going to get is when our true governor comes and rules the whole earth. Read that again, 17.
And the work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness, quietness, and assurance forever. And my people shall dwell in a peaceable habitation, and in sure dwellings, and in quiet resting places.
So there's going to be peace and quiet on the whole earth. Give me that in Isaiah 14. Isaiah chapter 14, and let's read verse 6 through 8. Let's read that.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 6.
Oh, let's start at verse 4.
Verse 4.
Because this is going to tell you who it's talking about. Isaiah's prophesying about the future to come. Read that.
That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased.
The golden city ceased. Now, I was born in Babylon the Great, so this is second nature. I'm accustomed to seeing these things. But those that come from outside of the country, from the islands, America is the golden city of opportunity to you. You could be whatever you want to be here. You could be as rich as you want to be here. Y'all know that. That's how your grandparents, that's why they came over, had your parents here, made sure they had your parents here so they wouldn't get deported. And then had you like second or third generation from the islands, from the other countries, because this is the golden city. Read on.
The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers.
Of the rulers, the governors. Read on.
He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger.
He did what?
He that ruled the nations in anger.
He ruled the nations in anger. That's why I said America is Rome reborn again. It's the same thing the Romans did. Same thing Americans do. They rule the nations in anger, but they put a smile on their face and say, anybody that's in league with us, you're our friend. It's actually anger behind that smile, waiting on you to get out of line. Read on.
Is persecuted, and none hinder it. The whole earth is at rest.
Read that again.
The whole earth is at rest. And is quiet. They break forth into singing.
So the whole earth will have peace and quiet when Christ returns. Now go back to let's go back a few chapters. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 11. And I want to read 6 through 9. Even the animals is going to have some peace and quiet under Christ. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 11, verse 6. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb.
That don't happen right there. You put a wolf and a lamb in the same place, you come back, it's going to be a bloody scene. The lamb going to have some peace. He ain't going to have to look over his shoulder. Read on.
And the leopard shall lie down with the kid.
That's a goat. Go ahead.
And the calf with the young lion, and the fatling together. And a little child shall lead them.
Why? Because all things are going to go back to how it was in the beginning, when everything was perfect. First day, second day, third day, sixth day. It's all going back to that. Vegan diet for all you veganists. The animals are. Go ahead.
And the cow and the bear shall feed. Their young ones shall lie down together. And the lion shall eat straw like the ox.
Read.
And the sucking child shall play with the hole of the asp.
You ain't got to be worried about snakes no more. I know, so if a snake come in here right now, whole building clearing out, including me. I'm gone. Security, let us know when it's safe to come back in. I ain't playing with it. Especially that, because an asp is a cobra. They can kill you like that. I'm getting up out there. Security, do your job. Read that again, verse 8.
And the suckling child shall play with the hole of the asp. And the weaned child shall put his hand in the cockatrice den.
Oh, man, you can't imagine that? Putting your hand in there. Your kids want to play with a snake, so they reach their hand in the hole of a snake's den and pull it out. Not be bitten, not die. Only thing can bring that kind of peace on earth is Christ. Let's read verse 9.
They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. And in the day there shall be the root of Jesse, which shall stand.
Hold on. Now it said hurt in all my holy mountain. Give me that Ezekiel 34. Let's read 22 through 25 to show what the holy mountain. I got to break this out because it's not in Haiti. It's not the mountain. No mountain in Haiti is the the kingdom of the Lords, all right? Isaiah 34, let's read 22 on down.
Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 22. Therefore will I save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey. And I will judge between cattle and cattle. And I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them. Even my servant David, he shall feed them.
That's talking about Christ. Go ahead.
And he shall be their shepherd, and I, the Lord, will be their God. And my servant David, a prince among them. And I, the Lord, have spoken it. And I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beast.
Hold on. He said he's going to make a covenant of what with them?
And I will make with them a covenant of peace.
A covenant of peace. Read on.
And will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land.
Uh-huh.
And they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods.
Go ahead.
And I will make them and the places round about my hill a blessing.
Go ahead.
And I will cause the shower to come down in its season. There shall be showers of blessing. And the tree of the field shall yield her fruit. And the earth shall yield her increase. And they shall be safe in their land. And they shall know that I am the Lord.
And we shall know that he is the Lord. Go to Ezekiel 20 and let's read verse 40. Ezekiel 20 and 40. What there? So it's going to be covenant of peace. Read that.
Ezekiel chapter 20 verse 40. For in mine holy mountain, in the mountain of the height of Israel.
So the holy mountains in the height of Israel. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord God, there shall all the house of Israel, all of them in the land, serve me. There will I accept them, and there will I require your offerings and the first fruits of your oblations with all your holy things.
So the holy mountain of God is in Israel, not Haiti. All right, y'all can put that to rest. All right, hey, now every government has different offices and administrations, right? You know, you got the governor of the city, and then, you know, he might have a superintendent here. He's got a teacher's board over here. Every government has different offices and administrations. Give me that in Matthew 19. Matthew chapter 19, let's read 27 through 28.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Jesus said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me, in the regeneration when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye shall sit up on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
So up under Christ as the governor, the disciples that walk with Christ, they are going to be up under him. They're going to report directly to him. Remember, it's got governments, got different offices and different administrations. They are reporting directly to him. That's their role. They're going to judge the 12 tribes of Israel. They'll deal with us also. All right? Read verse 29.
And every one that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life.
So what does Christ say? If you don't give up something in this wicked world, you can't be in the government of God. We all got to make a sacrifice to give up something in this world. And we ain't talking about, not talking about those that respect your beliefs at all. We're talking about them ones that try to draw you away from this truth. The mother that tries to draw you away from it and take you back to the darkness. The father, the wife, the husband, the kids. That now you have found out this, the Lord has woken you up, pulled you out of the darkness, showed you this marvelous light, but they want to keep on celebrating Christmas, Easter. You got to give up something in this world in order to receive that everlasting life that's going to be full of peace. That's something you got to work out on your own. We can't tell you to do it, but Christ just said it. Read it again, verse 29.
And every one that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother.
It said forsaken. That means you're going to have to make a decision. You know, you ain't walking this straight and narrow path with me to everlasting life. I'm going to have to limit our time between you. I love you, mama. I'll call you next week. That's a decision y'all got to make. Read on.
Or wife, or children, or lands for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life.
Now, this is the thing you got to have faith on. You might be leaving all those things, but you're receiving 100-fold in this life, and then you'll receive everlasting life. You'll have a bunch of fathers and mothers and sisters and children and lands, meaning you'll have somewhere to stay. You'll have all that, but you got to believe in that and trust in Christ and let go of those things that are holding you back. Give me that in 1 Corinthians chapter 6. And a lot of people sitting at home right now watching online because somebody's holding them back. Somebody got a flyer. Know it's the truth. Still sitting at home doing research, and we ain't going to see them until 2 years from now. They be like, how long you been watching? 2 years? How long you known? For 2 years? I've been watching online that long? Somebody was holding you back. Yeah. Can't wait. You might not have that chance to repent. 1 Corinthians 6, and let's read 1. And repent, come into the body. You better make haste. Let's read that. 1 Corinthians 6, let's read 1 on down.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 1. Dare any of you, having a matter against brother, go to law before the unjust and not before the saints?
Now, the unjust is talking about the scribes and Pharisees that didn't believe Christ was the Son of God. It's not talking about going to the law, meaning cops and judges and things of that nature. For those that might have thought that, it's not talking about that. It's talking about the scribes and the Pharisees that didn't believe in Christ instead of the saints. The saints are those that believed in Christ. Make sure you write that down. Might be on a test. Read on verse 2.
Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters?
So we are going to judge. Remember, I said in Christ's government, it has administration. So one of those, the disciples is going to do their judging of the 12 tribes, ordering us aright. They get orders from Christ. They're going to pass it down to us. And we are going to administer the judgment throughout all the people in the land. You might have one city. You might have 5 cities. You might just have a house in the city. But you're going to have to follow the orders that are given from the top down. Read on verse 3.
Know ye not that we shall judge angels?
Angels mean leaders. Go ahead.
How much more things that pertain to this life?
So you should be working on judging things. Where's the first place you got to start working on your judging skills? Does a brother know? Has he picked up what we put down the whole class? Let's see. Show of hands. I've got one way in the back. Let me get that way in the back. Where you got to work on your judgment skills at?
Your house.
Your house. That's the first place you start working on your judgment skills at. You're getting ready for the kingdom because it says, do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? You start there on a little capacity. Christ can trust you on something major. Then he can give you to judge cities, to rule over thousands of people. That's for some of you that your wife ain't in here. She at home wearing pants, cooking right now. All right, give me that book. Give me that book. It's the a handbook of Bible law. Give me that book. I want to show those images. Can you drop the black bars for me so I can see the top of it real quick? Zoom in. Just zoom in. We'll scroll down the page. I want to make sure everybody can see this. There we go. Let's read that for a soldier.
Government and civil officers.
Government and civil officers. So when we was in our own kingdom, ruled ourselves, we did have a sense of order when it comes to government. We did have order, which was the laws. We did have relations with the other nations. It said, I forget how. Let me see. How did it say if I jack it up here? Manage foreign relations. The king managed foreign relations. You read about that when Hezekiah dealt with the, I guess you would say, the liaisons from Babylon, and he showed them everything in the house. And Isaiah said, what did you just show them people from Babylon? He said, I showed them everything in the house of God. Okay, your kids going into captivity. Your grandkids, which would have been Daniel and them from the house of Judah, right? So the king dealt with foreign relations, provided services. We provided services. Here's the providing services because we had a government. Give me that in Deuteronomy chapter 11. Now, we know the priests provided a spiritual service, right? But they also did this. I think it's Deuteronomy chapter 11. No, it's Deuteronomy 14. Yep. Deuteronomy chapter 14. And I want to read verse 28 and 29.
Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 28. At the end of 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of tithe increase the same year, and shall lay it up within thy gates.
So tithes was food and fruits, right? For what reason? Read.
And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come, and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hand which thou doest.
Now, in the video, it said food stamps. But God had it set up where we brought the food to the temple and distributed to the fatherless, to the widows, to the strangers in the land. So we did provide services under ours. And the public policy, we all know that was the laws or die. Repent or die. Go back to it. All right, so government and civil officer. Let's read the highlighted green part. Scroll down some. Scroll down some. There we go. Let's read that.
Government, by its definition, is a means or system of regulation and control of something.
Government, by its definition, is a means or system of regulation and control of something. All right, let's scroll down. Let's read the next. Yeah, let's read that in the bars. Let's read that.
The government of the judges forms the most unique and singular part of the Hebrew institutions. The kings, the priests, the generals, the heads of tribes.
So we had our own government. That's what it was made of. The kings, foreign relations, the priests, they dealt with public policy, teaching the laws. The generals dealt with the war. The heads of tribes was a certain level of government. We dealt with the king. Read on.
All these offer some points of comparison with the same functionaries in other nations.
But here's the main point. Read that part.
But the judges stand alone in the history of the world.
The judges stand alone in the history of the world. Read on.
It was an office ordained by God, not by man.
Damn, that's cold-blooded right there. When God said, you the judges of the earth, you the greatest thing he ever set up on the face of the earth. That's why he said, I said ye are gods. It's ordained by him. Give me that in Psalm chapter 78. You brothers got to understand the calling that you've been called. You ain't just regular man. It's the highest calling on earth to be a judge of God. You know what I want in Psalm 78, promotion. Is that what I want? Shoot from the hip.
Psalms chapter 78, verse 5. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel.
Is that what I want? Oh, shoot from the hip. Give me that promotion cometh. I ain't looking at it. Don't let me find it before you. Psalm 75.
Psalms chapter 75, verse 6. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south, but God is the judge.
But God is the judge, and he does what?
He putteth down one and setteth up another.
He sets up the judges. He puts down the judges. That's why, go back to that. That was food for the soul right there, man. Read that again.
But the judges stand alone in the history of the world. It was an office ordained by God, not by man.
That's why we said when we come to promotion, brother, we ain't got nothing to do with that. God is working through man to set you, okay, his works. He got his stuff together outside of here. Give that brother the test. His house is in order. He ain't coming about, he ain't got unfeigned love for his people. He's ready to hit the streets. Go back to it. There's some more on that. The last paragraph of that.
A nation can survive corrupt leaders, administrators, and even citizens to an extent, for all become amendable to the law via the judicial system. But as the judicial system becomes corrupted, so does all order and justice.
So that's why God had us cast us down. We became corrupted by what? By trying to make league with the other nations. Go to the next page on that. Is that it? Yep, let's read that.
The Bible lays down many principles and guidelines for government and for those exercising governmental authority.
There's many guidelines for it, right? He tells you how to do it, so you don't have to make it up as you go. Changing laws here, changing laws there. Changing with society like Babylon the Great does. Read on.
The first and foremost principle is that all power and authority is from God and is to be used for godly aims.
You can never forget that when you are being set up as a judge. It's used for godly aims. The authority comes from God. That's why he can set one up and he can cast another one down. Because you forgot, this is on behalf of me, not you. Go back to it. Let's read that. This Bible states.
This Bible states that it is by the power of God that kings reign and princes decree justice and judges rule and preside. Since all authority originates and comes from God, it should be that all valid government be based upon God's laws.
Upon what?
Based upon God's laws.
America will never get right. It's not based upon God's laws. They might call it the judicial system where it's modern after Judah. No, but they don't follow that stuff. It will never be right. Things will never get better. You can save your vote next 4 years from now. You can save it. Keep it in your pocket. Take it to the pawn shop or something. It ain't gonna work. Haiti ain't never gonna get right because it ain't based on God's laws. America has set up a puppet leader over there, and all hell is broken loose. Venezuela, the same thing. That's why you can't trust in man. You can't trust in their government, your local officials, all of it. No, you trust in the word of God. Let them on the outside do whatever they're going to do, but you following the laws of God. You waiting on Christ's kingdom to come. Give me that in Isaiah. Is that it on that book? Was that it on that? Go back to pull it up. Yep, let's read that.
Civil officers in government are to possess the qualifications God requires of such men.
Oh, see, it's a qualification. It's requirements. This is for the old that walk in. Hey, man, give me a purple shirt. No. Sister, can I be the head of this? No. Sit down somewhere in the back. Get your spirit together. Sit down in the back, brother. Get your spirit together. And as you learn more and more to become a civil officer, a governor of the people, you move up a little bit closer, and you get more and more and more responsibility. But that takes time, training. That's why in Hebrews 5:12 it says when the first thing you need be taught again, which be the first principles of the oracle of God. To be a governor, you got to be retaught again. Because you're being in darkness, you ain't seen nothing that's right. You don't even know what's right. Yeah, try to bring it in here and merge out there with here. No. Sit down somewhere in the back. Read that again.
Civil officers in government are to possess the qualifications God requires of such men, not those who may appeal to us. Mm-hmm. They are to be men who desire truth and justice rather than the prestige of office.
Mm-hmm.
They are to fear God rather than persons or the power of special interest groups.
That's what the governments do now. That's why they sway one. That's why when Obama got into office, the first thing he passed was same-sex marriage. Why? Because his funding came from the LGBT community. They swayed by money. Biden got in there, signed the same thing. He swayed by whoever gave him the money. He got to keep his promise to them because he might not get elected for the next term, so I got to make sure I got them in my pocket. God ain't worried about that. He don't need nobody's money. You ain't swaying him no way. All he wants you to do is practice truth and justice. Give me that Isaiah chapter 1. Let's read verse 25 through 27.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 25. And I will turn my hand upon thee, and purely purge away thy dross, and take away all thy tin.
That dross is sin that's inside of us. He's going to purge us. Go ahead.
And I will restore thy judges as at the first.
Read that again.
And I will restore thy judges as at the first.
He has to do that. Why? Because now any black man, black woman get into office here in Babylon the Great, you might have good intentions, but eventually you're going to be corrupted. You got to make deals with the devil in order to get what you want to be done. You got to, what is that? You got to feed them a little. You know, all right, I'll give you this if you give me that. I know it ain't right, but later down the line, I'm going to need you to back me up on this. Do we got a deal? Yeah, we got a deal. Read that again.
And I will turn my hand upon thee, and purely purge away thy dross, and take away all thy tin. And I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward thou shalt be called the city of righteousness.
The what?
The city of righteousness.
The city of righteousness, because Christ is going to rule in righteousness. Read on.
The faithful city. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her coverts with righteousness.
And her coverts with righteousness. Give me that in Deuteronomy chapter 1. Let's see those judges' requirements. Deuteronomy chapter 1. Let's read what I want. 13 through 17.
Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 13. Take you wise men and understanding.
Do what?
Take you wise men and understanding.
We read that earlier in 1 Timothy. You cannot be a novice. You got to be a wise man and understanding. Understanding of what? We don't care geographical, geometrical of how to build a building or a highway to get to people. No. You got to understand the laws of God and how to apply those judgments in different situations. Wise man and understanding. Read on.
And known among your tribes.
They already have to be putting in work. They got to be known. They don't know your name. If nobody knows your name, you can't be set up as a leader. Sister, nobody knows your name. Don't be asking to be put on this or that. Nobody knows you. You got to be known among your tribes. That means you got to be seen putting your hand to the plow. That's a guideline. Yup. Read on.
And I will make them rulers over you.
Governors. Go ahead.
And ye answered me and said, the thing which thou hast spoken is good for us to do. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over 10s, and officers among your tribes. And I charged your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is with them. Ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. Ye shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is God's.
The judgment is God's. Why? Because you're using God's laws. Read on.
And the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it.
So you go above you. That's government, right? Administrations, you go above you. Let's take this to the next level, right? You got stuff that goes to your regular state court or your local court. Then it goes to state court. What's too hard for them? Guess where they send it? Up to the Supreme Court. We got that in our own nation. Give me that in 2 Chronicles. Let's get some history now. 2 Chronicles, chapter 19, and let's read 5 through 11.
2 Chronicles chapter 19, verse 5. And he set judges in the land throughout all the fenced cities of Judah.
So he set judges up. Read on.
City by city, and said to the judges, take heed what ye do.
That's what we do at IUIC. City by city, Bishop Nathaniel and the deacons are setting up judges all over the earth until the whole earth is filled with the wisdom of God. They're going to keep doing that until Christ returns. Because right now, what are we doing? We're rehearsing the righteous acts. Set up judges city by city. Read verse 6 again.
And said to the judges, take heed what ye do, for ye judge not for man, but for the Lord, who is with you in the judgment.
There you go. Read on.
Wherefore, now let the fear of the Lord be upon you. Take heed and do it.
Let the fear of God be upon you and do it. Go ahead.
For there is no iniquity with the Lord our God, nor respect of persons, nor taking of gifts.
So the same way that is with God is the same way it is with us. You can't have a respecter of persons, nor should you be taking bribes. Go ahead.
Moreover, in Jerusalem did Jehoshaphat set of the Levites and of the priests and of the chief of the fathers of Israel for the judgment of the Lord and for controversies when they returned to Jerusalem.
Read.
And he charged them, saying, thus shall ye do in the fear of the Lord, faithfully and with a perfect heart.
With a perfect heart and faithfully judge the people. Read on.
And what cause soever shall come to you of your brethren that dwell in their cities.
You got to speed up.
Between blood and blood, between law and commandment, statutes and judgments, ye shall even warn them that they trespass not against the Lord.
That's your job as a judge. So let you know this, brothers. You ain't going to be liked as a judge of Israel. Because you got to warn people to stay out of the midst of sin. Warn them to not go after their lustly desires. You ain't going to be liked. Read on.
And so wrath come upon you and upon your brethren.
Because what's going to happen if you don't warn them, then the same judgment that's for them is going to turn around back on you. Read on.
This do, and ye shall not trespass. And behold, Amariah, the chief priest, is over you in all matters of the Lord.
So look at this. You listen. You're hearing the government. Chief priest, he's over all matters of you concerning the Lord. Read.
And Zebediah, the son of Ishmael, the ruler of the house of Judah.
That's not Ishmael that you read way back in Genesis, just a name in the Bible. Go ahead.
For all the king's matters. Also the Levites shall be officers before you. Deal courageously, and the Lord shall be with the good.
And the Lord shall be with the good. Give me that Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6. And I want to read 1 through 3. So who is this? I think it was Jehoshaphat. Yeah, Jehoshaphat set up judges. He was a righteous king. And he warned them on how to judge on behalf of the Lord because he knew in the spirit it's a heavy matter. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6. Let's read 1 through 3.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 1. Hear therefore, O you kings, and understand. Learn, ye that be judges of the ends of the earth.
Ye that be judges of the ends of the earth. He's talking to you. Learn. Read on.
Give ear, ye that rule the people.
Ye that rule the people. Go.
And glory in the multitude of nations. For power is given you of the Lord.
Read that again.
For power is given you of the Lord.
That's what we read in that book. The judges come from God. It's the highest esteem. It's the highest honor you can have on earth because it comes directly from God. It's not something to be taken lightly. Oh, yeah, I'm just, I'm an officer of 10. You know, it's just 10. No, that's 10 man's lives, 20 man's lives, 50 man's lives, so 300 man lives, 500, 3,000 man. That's how many lives that you are that have been deemed by God. He's worthy to be over that. Live, they're going to have all kind of problems too. You got to be able to handle those all. Read that again, verse 3.
For power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest.
From the highest.
Who shall try your works and search out your counsels?
Read that again.
Who shall try your works and search out your counsels?
That's why you got to be mindful of what counsel you giving as a judge. The Lord is listening in on that because you ain't judging for yourself. You judging for who, brothers? The Lord. He listening. Are they using the laws right here? Here. Boom, boom, boom. Got to be mindful of that. All right, give me that. Sirach chapter 10. Ecclesiasticus 10. Let's read 1 and 2.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
Read that again.
A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
Read.
As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of a city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
So Christ is going to be a wise governor. So all the officers under him have to be wise governors as well. There ain't going to be what do you say, a kink in the armor, a break in the chain. Oh, I got all this wisdom coming down, and we'll get to you. Oh, this dude's a dumbass. No, because it has God's government. It has to be sold up and perfect from top to bottom. So the way Christ is going to be is the same way we have to be, because we have to order the cities that he's going to give us. Give me that in Isaiah chapter 60. Now, the citizens, we almost finished here. The citizens under Christ's government, what are they going to be like? Isaiah 60, let's read verse 21.
Isaiah chapter 60, verse 21. Thy people also shall be all righteous.
Read that again.
Thy people also shall be all righteous.
Ain't going to be no wicked people in there. Ain't going to be no stink meaners in there. You ain't getting in. Read that again.
Thy people also shall be all righteous.
Everybody's going to be all righteous. So if you got a problem with the laws of God now, don't even just, count yourself out for the kingdom. That's why Christ said, blessed is he who is not offended in me. Because he's going to rule. And whatever he say, go. You're going to have to do it. Read that again.
Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified.
Give me that Isaiah 66. Let's Isaiah 66. Let's read 22 and 23. We did it with the citizens under Christ's government now.
Isaiah chapter 66, verse 22. For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord.
So all the citizens is going to keep the new moon and the Sabbath. Everybody, all flesh got to come. Go to Zechariah 14. Zechariah 14. So, for you brothers and sisters that don't like being outside because it's too hot, you can't drive around without the air conditioner on. Windows got to be up, and you better get your spirit right. Zechariah 14, let's read 16 through 19. So you keep it Sabbath days, you keep it new moon as the citizens of God. Go ahead.
Zechariah chapter 14, verse 16.
Isaiah, go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year.
So, because remember, a part of government is having diplomatic relations, right? Relations with the governments of the earth, the nations. Christ is going to handle that. He said, whichever's left over. That's how he said death to all of them. Read on.
Year to year, to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
So Christ is going to have tabernacles ordained as a holy day to be kept. No, ain't gonna be no President's Day. There ain't gonna be no Dog Day. There ain't gonna be no How High Day. There ain't gonna be no Gender Bender Days. There ain't gonna be no President's Day. All that stuff that's out here in the world is going to be tabernacles, Passover, Sabbath days, new moons. Read on.
And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague, wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to the Feast of Tabernacles.
Read on.
This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all nations that come not up to the feet to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
So the citizens got to keep tabernacles. That's for all the closet Christians in here. You better be ready to keep tabernacles. Give me that Isaiah 55. We'll end it on this one right here. We can close the time. Yep, Isaiah 55. I want to read verse 3 and 4. We'll wrap it up with this.
Isaiah chapter 55, verse 3. Incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David.
The sure mercies of David is talking about all 12 tribes. Incline your ear. Come unto Christ and hear, and your soul shall live. Read on.
Behold, I have given him for the witness to the people.
Read that again.
Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people.
He didn't give, what's his name? What's that dude's name? Muhammad, the one that couldn't read. He didn't give Muhammad. He didn't give Krishna. Name some other. Confucius. He didn't give Creflo as a witness. He sure the hell didn't give Jehovah's Witnesses as a witness to the people. Joel Osteen, T.D. Jakes, they are not a witness that Christ set up to the people. It's Christ. Read it again.
Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people.
A witness to the people. Read on.
A leader.
A what?
A leader.
He's a leader, a governor. Read.
And commander to the people.
A commander to the people. What he says shall go. That's the government of God.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.